G'day, I'm Dr. John and I'm here to introduce a new SEL program, that means social and emotional literacy, because it's sweeping the country and for a very good reason. We've found out and we're working out that a child's emotional intelligence, or his EQ, is just as important as his IQ or how he goes academically. In fact, I would argue that unless they're feeling good about themselves and happy, they're not going to be good learners of anything. So I knew this was the go, and I knew this was important. So what I did was I looked around and found what was the research saying, and I found some research that was saying you can take a kid's emotional intelligence when they're 5 and you can predict how they're going to go later in life in things like getting a job, getting a degree, and how successful they'll be. And that was a study done, a very expensive and expansive study. So I knew we were onto something, but then I had to look around and find, well, where can I get a program that actually focuses on this emotional intelligence? And I found a Howard Gardner model, and I'll show you on the screen an overview of this one. And you'll see on that screen, on that wheel of intelligence, you'll find those 2 quadrants there on the top right-hand corner. You'll see there are the things, your basic skills. And there we have down below whether they're good at natural studies, natural science, and then whether they're good at art down the bottom there, and then whether they're good at phys ed. And these are all programmed into the curriculum. And then whether they're good at music. It's so important for them, music. But look at those top 2 yellowish quadrants there. And we're calling about people smart and self-smart. And the truth is, they have been lost, and yet they're the basis to have a good EQ. So I thought, well, if they're so important, where can I find a program that does this? So I looked around, and you can see I've got a list on the screen here of the SEL programs. And I love some of these programs, especially You Can Do It. I really love them. And Fun Friends, they're all good. But I didn't find any that it sort of encapsulated all the emotions that we needed to cover that kids feel, whether it's anger or anxiety or jealousy or low self-esteem or poor body image or just unadventurous, just too scared, all these things, or even lonely and lost. So I then found this thing called the WorryWoos. And you'll see on the screen that those interpersonal and intrapersonal abilities are covered by these characters. And there's quite a few of them. Some refer to people smart, and some refer to self-smart. Now, I thought, righto, but what do they cover? So here I've given you another slide here. Sorry to refer to slides all the time, but that way it saves you looking at me. And you'll see that this overview tells you what each of them cover. And you can see there's wince there and rue and fuddle. I'll be pursuing these in more detail in other videos, so I don't think we need to go through them in detail. But you can see there are 7 very important characters that we need to be aware of. And so I thought, what do I do with these? So I thought, right, I'm going to help parents, because the books that are written to go with these characters are so beautifully illustrated and so good, but they weren't helping a parent who had a child with that difficulty. So I wrote one, and you'll see on this slide, calling Helping Young Worriers Beat the Worry Bug. I wrote that for internalisers, kids who all their worry was inside. And then I thought, well, I've got to do the alternate. So I wrote a book again for parents, which was helping young children manage frustration and anger. And you can see those on that screen as well, better than I could. But I thought, no, this is good. I like what I'm doing. I like what I've done here, but I realise this isn't the essence of the program. The essence of the program is for schools. So I then wrote this guideline for teachers. And that guideline covers all the characters and how to use it in a sort of basic way for young kids. And I sort of put it down into 5 sessions. Teachers don't have to do it this way, but it was one where session 1, that's sort of assuming it's Monday, they would do this, and then session 2, they would, so in session 1, introducing the character, session 2, they'd read the story, session 3, they would sort of share experiences with that emotion, share 4, they would sort of come back with feedback from home on how they're managing, and session 5, we'd look at how well did we go with that, and are there any children who need extra help from learning support or whatever. So that was a good little model I had, and we put that out for research with over 1,000 children just not long ago, and the feedback was phenomenal. I'll show you the slide here of the major pilot study. You don't need to take into details, but on the objective measure, there was a significant improvement in pro-social behaviours and a significant reduction in conduct, emotional and internalising and externalising difficulties. So it was showing me good things. I had my own little test that I designed too, and tried that out. It wasn't as standardised as the SDQ, and I found significant improvements in so many areas to do with kids' well-being, their resilience, their empathy, their interpersonal skills. All sorts of things came through on that. And I thought, I really am onto a winner here. And so then we started to distribute them to schools. And as to why they've been successful, there are a few reasons as to why they've been successful. And I think one of them is because the teachers love the program, because it's fun. But it's also non-prescriptive. They can go in any order. The teachers can determine what content and the timing. But a big one was the whole model is social interactional, and that means kids learn from each other. And you and I know the kids learn more from each other than they do from any adult. So that was a very important part of this program. But it also they can be revisited on a number of levels, stage 2, stage 3, young kids, whatever. They're attractive little plush toys, as you can see from my little worry bug. They're all attractive like that. You might be able to see some of those behind me as well. And so there's plenty of support. For instance, this particular program is a cross-curricular book that can go with the program, and it's giving teachers all the ideas in the world of what they can do in language arts or visual arts, performing arts, music and movement. So they can weave it into the curriculum in lots of ways, so that and at various levels. And so I thought, and I know that we're onto something, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. What I'm going to do now is I can tell you why we did it and what we did and why it's so successful, but I needed to get a school that says, look, I'll stand up and be counted. And I found Erina Heights Public School was willing to be involved in the whole WorryWoo's program. And their principal, Natalie MacDonald, is here with us today, and she's going to be talking about how she weaves the WorryWoos into her wellbeing program. So let's talk to Natalie. Natalie, it's so good to be in your school and to look at how important the WorryWoos are in this school. How have you integrated the woos into your wellbeing program?
Well, I was very lucky many years ago, Dr. John, to see you present at a conference where you presented and introduced the WorryWoos, and I took them into the school that I was in at that time. And I think just creating some excitement around them and taking them into the classroom and making them real really just saw them become part of what we do. So I guess my excitement was passed on to teachers, and they got excited about the impact they could have, and students and parents alike. From there, I took them into the next 2 schools I went into, and then here being the 3rd school I've been into since then. And when I came here, I guess particularly I started with them across K-2. So at the beginning of the year, and I was a new principal coming in, so I guess I was feeling all the emotions myself that the WorryWoos talk about. And I think it's really important for children to see that even as adults, we go through those same emotions that they're going through, that they're something that they're going to take through life. And I guess the WorryWoos are a resource that help them understand and be able to deal with that. So I started with them here and took them into classrooms and spoke about my connection to the WorryWoos and how I felt these different emotions, and straight away the children connect to that. You just see this, I guess, almost relief wash over them to think, wow, someone in your position feels these same feelings as well. So I took them into classrooms and told my own story. I didn't actually use the books and stuff that came with them, but I guess I built this excitement that both students and teachers wanted to know so much more about them, and students started coming into my office, and they'd created beds for them, and they'd done all these different things for this WorryWoo that they'd met in their classroom, and from that teachers wanted to know more. So I think initially I just built some excitement around this great resource, and it's very easy when you've got a very cute plush toy and a wonderful book and a great resource to go with them. I don't think it's very hard to engage children. So from that, I guess teachers got some excitement around them and could see that they could really have potential. And teachers then started doing their own thing with them. So I was happy to buy kits because I know how great they can be, but I didn't mandate anything. And I think that's what helped it really grow, was that everyone wanted to be part of it. They weren't made to be part of it. And all of a sudden teachers were sharing these great things that they'd done in their classrooms, all off their own bat. And then parents would start coming to have conversations with me and say, you going in and talking about Wince, the WorryWoo, is one of the most memorable moments that my child's had from kindergarten. And they still talk about the fact that you feel that same way that they feel sometimes. So that made it easy. And I guess from there, teachers saw the benefit of it. And then I think some of our 3 to 6 teachers felt that they were missing out in not being part of the K-2 WorryWoos program that we had working across K-2. And so then they wanted to get involved as well, and they did, which is fantastic. And it's seen it embraced across the whole school. Teachers will share articles and work that they've done around the WorryWoos in the newsletters, so parents talk about it. They're really part of our school culture. So we have also spoken to a local mural artist, and we don't know where yet, but just being that we have such a strong focus on wellbeing, and that the WorryWoos are basically our resource that I guess everybody connects to what we do in wellbeing here, that we thought we'd love to go down that path as well, to showcase our whole school focus on wellbeing, but the WorryWoos being the face of that.
Oh. Well, that's a great overview. I didn't know some of those details, Natalie, and I thank you. And now we're going to be doing each of those characters and getting a teacher from your school in to talk about how they use these characters, but no wonder they're excited because of the leadership you've given. So thank you for sharing that today.
Oh, my pleasure. I think I've always been strong in curriculum, and I've always been a leader in curriculum. But honestly, without student wellbeing, we're not going to see success in curriculum. So I think driving such a great resource that I've seen have such a positive impact on students, staff and parents when you're getting great feedback from all avenues of your school community, I think it shows that it works, and it's definitely worth embedding into what we do. And I think what you see with teachers today is that they have been very creative in the way they've used it across all aspects of curriculum, and really enjoyed doing it, and the children as well. So I think I actually have the WorryWoos displayed in my office, so I have a kit that I keep in my office, and I think it's really beautiful even when I have enrolment interviews and stuff like that come in, that children automatically connect to the plush toys straight away, and it opens a conversation straight away to show that our school really values well-being and the social emotional learning of our children. So I think they're a great resource, and I look forward to hearing today what wonderful job our staff have done with using them across the school.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So let's we'll call it a day at that. I hope you've enjoyed the overview and hope it's excited you as to what the WorryWoos can do. And now we'll move to meet each of the characters now as we do some other videos that are also on the website. Thank you very much.